Hi everyone, happy Friday and welcome to Cat's Creations, where today we are doing this last live for 2022 from the comfort of our home. We have a really brisk cold front and no matter what we've been doing to try to heat up the shop, we just can't get it to go above freezing, right? It's hovering right at the 30 to 35 mark. So we thought that we would bring this one to you live. It's been a while since you guys have seen me. So this is the voice that many of you, or the face that many of you don't associate, because we've been doing so many overhead shots just to try to give you guys the best possible angle. So I want to welcome you. Per your request, I had asked what would you guys like to see for some upcoming designs, and a lot of you said you really wanted to go back and review the angels. So I thought we would do my signature showpiece, which is my angel tree toppers, because so many people use holiday trees year round. So I thought we would do one for Mardi Gras. What?
Oh, we got a hitchhiker back there.
Hitchhiker, Boba. Yeah, you guys haven't seen the cats for a while because the cats are no way going in the shop. It is just way too cold. So, welcome for those of you that are joining us for the very first time. If you would love to click the like and follow button on my page, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps you with the notifications. So what I have personally notified lately, and I don't know what happened, and I don't know how many of you are actually getting notifications for anybody that you follow live, but it seems like all of our notifications have been reset to no, don't follow anybody. So if you guys can do me a favor, if you're not getting the notifications, just do a quick double check right now and just click on the three dots in the upper right hand corner.
If you haven't.
Yeah. And make sure it should open a sub menu, and I think it's the second option from the bottom. It says turn notifications on. So if that is your option, you want to make sure you click that so that all of your notifications are on, and that's how you will do it for all the people that you follow on Facebook.
Kathy Reason said she got a notification.
Good. Okay, great. So what I thought we would do is I'm going to show you how to do a wood burn piece, because it's been a while since I showed you how to do that. To do the angel tree topper, you will need 10-inch deco mesh, whatever color combinations you want to do. You will need a grand total of 12 pieces cut to 10 inches. So normally what I try to figure out is what color do I want the wings. That's going to be 6 pieces there. And then what color would you like to see for the skirt? So we're kind of doing a little bit of a combination to introduce all the colors that are Mardi Gras, the purple, the green, and the gold. So I thought this pattern here, the gold with the green and kind of purple stripe, would be perfect for the wings. And then we'll introduce the colors into her skirt with the purple, the green, and I'm going to put a couple pieces of this in just to kind of tie it all together. So if you're making angels for the very first time, you will want to use the wood burning tool, because it is going to make those angels look pristine. It's going to give you the really clean cuts on the wings. So if you're trying to use a rotary cutter or scissors, you're just not going to get it. Even as you're assembling it, you're going to encounter frays as you're putting your pieces together. And I know that is like the biggest thing that we strive to achieve is no frays. So if you get a wood burning tool that is, I'm trying to look at like what I have mine at. Mine is set for 425. So you need a wood burning tool that has an ability for you to get that up to 425. And then generally most of the time they come with a chisel point, which kind of looks like a knife blade. It's kind of tall on one end, and then it's slants down to a diagonal on the other end, like a knife blade. And that's exactly what you're going to want to use. What I do is you get a tempered glass cutting board. I got mine at Walmart. It's about $7. This one just happens to be, let me make sure I'm doing this correctly. This is a 15 by 12 cutting board. One side is textured, the other side is smooth. I use the smooth side. And as you can see, the minute that I drop this on my cutting mat, it allows me to see the lines, and that's exactly what you want. It also saves you because you would never try to do wood burning tool with your deco mesh without something on your surface. Alternatives that you can use right now to help cookie sheets, you know, a metal surface that will protect your mat. You could use, people have taken the refrigerator shelves out of the refrigerator and use that until you can get the glass cutting mat or cutting board, whatever you call it. I think of this as a mat. This doesn't even seem like a board because it's not made out of wood. But what we're going to do is your deco mesh is laid out in a series of rows and columns. So what you want to do is make sure when you roll this out to the 10-inch line, I'm going to move this over here. You want to make sure that both of your finished edges are hitting the ends of your start point. So, you know, we're not getting something like this because you know how as you roll out your deco mesh, it has a tendency of kind of curving. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to take your chisel point. We're going to start at the 10 and you want to stay in the column. So wherever you start, you want to run your wood burning tool down all the way to the end. And it doesn't necessarily have to stay on the 10. We just want to get it to a 10 spot. So like right here, this is about 10 for me. I'm going to stay and keep my wood burning tool right along the 10 line, all the way down to the bottom, just like that. And that gives you a perfect 10 by 10 piece. Not only that, it's sealing the ends where I've cut so that the foil doesn't pull out. Everything on the polypropylene is kind of melted to a degree, and that keeps things from fraying. So I only needed one additional piece, I believe, and I think we're ready to kind of put this together. I'm going to unplug my wood burning tool so that I don't accidentally burn myself. This is what I'll do. I'll cut all the pieces. Once all the pieces are cut, I remove this, put that in a place where we can go ahead and allow that to cool down. Any questions you guys have on the wood burning process itself?
Okay. Evelyn Claus, love her last name, Claus.
Right?
Happy Friday, all. Hope your holiday prep is going well. I
Yeah.
can't hang and watch, packing up cookies to ship out tonight. Have a great weekend.
You have a great weekend
Merry
too.
Christmas, everyone.
So, what we're going to do is we always do the wings last. So when I'm loading, bow dabber, super handy. If you don't have a bow dabber, what could you use? Clothespins, binder clips, chip clips, and you're going to need 12 of them if you choose to use that option. Or if you happen to have a person handy that can just hold the pieces for you, that makes the process so much easier. But a lot of us don't have somebody else. So I wanted to be able to show you how to do this without having, so that you could do it by yourself. So we're going to pull out the 6 pieces that I have cut for the wings. Oops, there, I just want another piece.
Patty, we are in our house.
This is our home. Yes, it's too cold outside.
It's cold out in the shop.
So, and then I have, there's my pieces for my wings. These are the pieces for my skirt. So I have 2 of the same color we're using for the wings. I'm using a high foil, which means that you have wide foil, metallic mesh, every other column. Pretty much just like we did the high foil mesh for the wings. So we're using 2 pieces of green, 2 pieces of the wing color, and then I've already cut my purple. So the purples are all ready. And then what you're gonna do is, I don't know if you guys saw the picture earlier, is you have to decide what color is going to be on the outside of her skirt. So as we build the skirt, it's going to fold in half. So whatever color you want on the outside, if you want it to be purple on the outside, then you'll want to load purple last, and then all your other colors prior to that. And I think that's what color I want to go with, is I kind of want to do a purple and then mix this in, and then do a green, and then we're back to purple, and then our color in green. So this is the order that it needs to be loaded into my Bodabra. Starting with this will be last, this will be first. So what you're going to do, the technique is super simple, is you're going to take your 10 by 10 mesh. Here's our finished edge. We are going to go halfway to the middle, just like this. Huh?
I'll go ahead and zoom down.
Yeah, he's going to zoom down, so bye for now. Okay, right to the middle. Okay, and then you're going to stretch. And as you're stretching, it's elongating your pieces. And then you want to bring this piece right up to the top. Stretch so it gets thin. And then you're going to fold halfway up. Fold the top down to the middle, so it's like in half. And then you're going to fold it in half again. And I'm going to place that in my Bodabra sideways, so I have the closed backs facing you, the open part facing me. And I'm just going to take scissors so that it holds that flat so it doesn't spring up. So the next piece, finished edges, right? We're going to take the top, come down about halfway, stretch it, bring it up. Just make sure we've got a good stretch on it. We're going to go halfway up from the bottom, bend the top to the middle, fold it again outward. I'm not folding it this way, I'm folding it in half. And then I'm placing that right into my Bodabra, stacking that right on top of the other piece. Okay, here's our purple, right to the middle, right to the middle, and then stretch, up to the center, up to the center, fold in half. I'm going to place this one here. What you need is for these to stay stacked. So this is where I was saying, ideally having somebody stand here and hold them, like Steve and I used to do it. We would fold it, he would hold it, or I would hold it until we got all the pieces assembled, and then we put it all together. So sometimes you have to get super creative to get Yes. So if you want this tutorial easy to find, make sure you click the share button. It shares it to your page. Much easier to find than trying to go through my tutorials. So again, corner to corner, go up to the middle, stretch, up from the top, pinch to the middle, and then we have to get creative and take everything back out. So again, sandwiching, it gets really interesting by the time you put your final piece in at 12. Okay, finished edge to the middle. Such a thick piece right here. So here, here, and here. So by the time you have it going into the Bodabra, it's about a ½ inch. Like this, it's all the way flat. And so when people were saying, well, how would we do it if we had clothespins or chip clips or binder clips? Each piece that you make, you would binder clip together. And then when you're ready to assemble them, you're going to need a place where you can unclip them and start stacking them in order. Okay, finished edge. Back to the center. See, it stretches so nice at some point. And then we're going up, up, and back out. And so this finishes the skirt portion. Because remember I said I wanted purple on the outside.
Yeah. And all the skirt portion is facing her. The
Yeah.
open edge.
So all the open ends are facing me. You guys have the clean backs facing you at this point. Everything has been stacked. At this point, it'd be great if it stayed like this. It would if I had the person behind the camera hold it, but it's the skirt, finished edge here, bringing it to the center, stretch it out. Again, stretch it out, fold to the middle, fold to the middle, fold in half. And now instead of loading it open ends facing me, I'm gonna flip it, and now the open ends are gonna face you. So completely opposite. And this is how you can tell the difference between the wings and the skirt is based on what do you see. Because you want to see beautiful wing tips that are open, just like, you know, angel wings should have the tips. And then at this point, the skirt is going to stay smooth. You're not going to have that open part facing you. You're going to have the back, the smooth part facing you. So all these 6 pieces are going to go exactly the same way. So they're all going to go facing you. So I'm always it's a balancing act. There we go. So we try to get these ones in and done as quickly as possible, because this, how you assemble it together is gonna, you know, determine whether or not you have a really great angel or it's kind of got wonky wings or too short of a skirt. So again, facing you. Put that in. There we go. Okay. To the center. Back up to the center. Stretch. Both folded and then folded again. So I'm just pushing down on my stack while I remove everything. There we go. There we go. To the center, stretch. Up.
D said, so the last fold goes out instead of in, correct?
I'm bringing the bottom up, right? Are you zooming in?
Yeah, pretty close.
Okay, so I'm bringing the bottom to the center. Now I'm going to take the top and fold that down to the middle. And then I'm bringing the whole thing up and folding it so that the fold now is on the top.
So I guess the fold does go out. It folds out. The last fold.
Yes.
Okay.
So all the layers are here. And then we will plop this one in.
So yes, D, you're correct. Yep.
Folds go out. Yeah, I guess it was
The very last one goes out.
trying to decide. Yes, fold, fold, and then refold out.
Bottom fold in, top fold in, and then
One more time.
fold out. Yeah.
So finished edge here, bring this halfway down to your to the center of your piece. Bring this one up, stretch it out, because you try to get as much length out of your piece as possible. So I'm bringing the bottom up to the middle, folding the top down to the middle. And I'm not folding my pieces up, I'm folding them like Steve says, I guess they're folding them out.
Right.
So they have like a little mouth. And then we will,
Or so you can see all the other folds.
yes. So that is all my stacks. And so now you'll need a pipe cleaner.
Well, I said, this is great. I was just hunting for your angel tutorial this morning.
Yay! And you remember you can use the same technique for any season. So Christmas, just like I said, decide what color wings you want, what color skirt you want. You will need a grand total of 12 pieces. 6 are separate for your wings, and then 6 are for your skirt colors. And you can do them all in the same color, like the white with the iridescent that I do. They're all the same color. We just change, 6 pieces go one direction, the other 6 go the opposite direction to separate wings from skirt. Okay.
This is the tough part.
This is the tough part. So you're lifting, and you've got all of these nice, gorgeous layers, right? And you want to keep them stacked. This is where having your other person handy. I'm going to pinch, bring this up, and we are going to twist. The goal is not to round your layers. So like how they were stacked and they were all like neat little pieces, you want to leave them stacked, not squish it as tight as possible. And then what ends up happening is they round.
Pieces start popping out in the middle.
Yeah, like they lose their placement when you're putting your angels together. So I'm going to twist this all the way up, just like so. Just so it's all nice and tight. And then now what I'm going to be doing is, here are your wings, right? The open tips are facing. So I'm going to be separating the skirt part. So by flipping it over, you can see how everything is stacked in its layers. And that's exactly what you want to see, all those individual pieces. It should not look like this. If it looks like this, what's going to end up happening is when you go to assemble it, you're going to get a lot of looseness in there, and then your piece. Now you're going to pull your pieces down. So remember, are exactly the same length on both sides, because this is where you can make, like as we're laying them in the Bodabra, they might not exactly be straight. So here we're just verifying that both ends of the pieces are the same length. Okay, and then we're pulling this piece down. Again, making sure this one's a little short, so you can pull and make slight adjustments. And then here's the final piece. Remember, we wanted the purple on the outside, and it feels like it's a little longer here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. We're going to go ahead and keep this as tightly compacted as possible. Why? This is her body. We want to kind of have a fairly tight placement here of the colors, but I don't want to lose like my greens. So it just looks better overall if you can keep this part of it nice and tight. I'm going to use purple because we're going with purple on the outside. So again, doing it from the back.
What about a what, 1.5 to 2-inch gap between your green tie and your purple tie on the body? About 1.5 inches down?
I don't get that specific,
No.
but no. It's about an inch, 1.5 inches. I just usually eyeball it. So, like right there, if I need to twist it any tighter, go ahead and make all my twists. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to twist all the way up. And then before we seal the deal on the wings, we need to make sure, because look, I feel like these ones are really long and these ones are really short. So we're going to be able to fix that before we get everything permanent. So right now, this is what I was saying, the smooth part, by having those wing tips or the pieces pointing backwards, it creates look on the wings. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull them up, starting with the one closest to the top. You're going to just make sure your points are the same. Like these ones are both the same. That's good. I'm going to go to the next piece. I'm going to make sure these are all laying in the right place. Make sure those are good. First two are good. I'm going to grab my third piece. The other. And then if you need to make any adjustments, you just grab the individual piece you're working on. So this is piece 3. See, piece 5 is over all the other ones. Here's 4. I'm going to go find 4 here. Nope, that's 3. Here's 4. Make any adjustments. Take piece 5.
This is where if you do have a piece out of place, you can kind of push it back in and get it back in line.
You can just like re-pull them back up to the top. Just like that. And here's this last piece, which is just kind of all on its own. Perfect. So now you can see, and this has happened to me several times. You want to make sure you count all your pieces, especially if you're doing them all the same color. So on this one, you want to make sure you have, obviously, I can tell where I stopped right here because purple was separate the skirt. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 pieces on either side. So we're good. What are you looking for?
Sorry, I sure you had the head in your basket.
I have everything. Yep. Okay, so body and wings now are all assembled perfectly. Okay. Now we're going to get creative on how we're going to hide all of the mechanics. So on the back, looks kind of cool from the back. We are going to take purple. We're going to have purple go up and it's going to meet with green. Okay. Steve does his way different than I do mine. We both have our own techniques. And then I'm just going to twist my pipe cleaners all the way down. So I brought the purple up to the green, twisted those together. Then I twisted both colors all the way up to the top. And then what I want to do is I want to stop this right at the apron line where our purple pipe cleaner is. Right here at the line where my purple is. Okay. Just like so. So I'm going to pull this back. I'm going to take my glue gun. I'm going to move it back to low. I had it on high just to get it nice and warm. I'm going to lay a bead of glue right down here, right to this point. There we go. And then I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to press, and I'm going to hold that in place. This now has locked in the top part to the wing, the bottom part of the apron, all together. It's all nice and twisted. We shouldn't have any movement. Although, granted, you could grab these and slide them out. The only thing holding it is whatever tension you have between the wings, and then whatever tension you have configured around her waistline.
Hi, Patricia. She said, I love your angels.
Thank you. So we want to make sure that sets up, and that just creates a nice solid foundation. It's also gluing together a lot of the layers in her skirt together. And then before I forget, I want to take, since we have, I'm trying to think, do we want this or that? I think I'm going to go with purple because I want purple for the skirt. We need a way to attach this, right? The way for the customer to either twist it on their holiday tree or to hang it on their front door. So if you take a pipe cleaner, you slide your pipe cleaner right underneath the green pipe cleaner. This is, you can take it and form it into a little circle, twist it together. You can hang it that way, or this twist tie becomes the twist tie for twisting it onto your holiday tree. So that portion is all done. Do you guys have any questions? Okay, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna set this aside. I'm gonna show you now what we're gonna do. And normally I do this ahead of schedule. Gold, purple, and green. I'm gonna do, well, green, gold, and purple. I'm gonna put the metallic in the center. 3 pipe cleaners. I'm gonna twist them together at the top, and then I'm gonna get creative on how they wrap around, because I wanna see all 3 colors all the way down on the halo. So I want to see the green, I want to see the purple, so I'm just twisting this so that we have all 3 all the way through. Almost to the end. Okay, so I have a really nice blend of all 3 colors. You can see all 3, they're all pretty much evenly spaced. And then you're gonna need an 1.5-inch ball for the head. This one's an 1.5 inches. On my angels, I either pick one of 2 colors. I either go with a solid white for the head, or I'll do a wood. Generally, we use the wood more for the country angels, but I've found that on this particular one, it looks better not to do white. I'm not a fan of the gold or colored heads, but that's just me. So I'm gonna do the wood head, and when you're doing the wood heads, you can get these at Hobby Lobby. I get the ones with the holes in the bottom. If you can't find the ones with the hole, because they have a tendency of sitting straight, and that's how it's going to sit on your angel's body, you're going to want to make sure, how does that look? Like, this would be the overall face. I don't put faces on my angels. I've had several people ask me to do it. I'm like, I will make them. If you want to put the faces on, it's up to you, because once the face goes on, that's it. You know, if you mess up the whole face and someone's not happy with it, it's a done deal. So mine are just like, I guess, like Amish dolls or faceless angels. So I've got a nice oval here, whereas on the back, it's more of an oval this way. So this is going to be the front part for me for my angel. And I'm gonna form my halo so that all my pieces are ready to estimate of about how big it should be. And right where they hit, I'm going to bring those together so that that's the size of my ball. I'm going to move my head, and I am just going to twist these 2 together, just like this, all the way down. Now, on my angels, my halos don't sit on their head, they float. So the optical illusion for floating is making sure that your halo, it's hard to do it on the wooden ball because it's so slippery, is you want to form like a little indent at the back like this, so that when we glue this on the back of the ball from the front, it looks as though the halo is floating. There's, again, the mechanics part of it that you want to kind of keep hidden. And then the back part is just going to follow her the rest of the way down on her apron. So this is front facing, this would be back facing. So we will be laying a bead of glue that follows the halo all the way down to the end. Okay, so that is ready to go. And then you're going to need 2 things. You're going to need an 1.5 inch ribbon. And I already cut mine from the roll. You'll need 3 pieces, 4 inches long, and this forms the bib, the top part of the angel. So I'm using this fleur-de-lis Mardi Gras Wreath in the gold, the green, and the purple, the same kind of purple that's in the whatchamacallit, the tricolor metallic. And I'm keeping all my pieces so that the fleur-de-lis is all going in the same direction, and you want to put a dovetail edge on the bottom. So just like this, dovetail edge is just cutting from the folded side to the wired point. Okay, all of our pieces are 4 inches long, and then what you're going to do is you're going to kind of overlap them. What would you call that? Maybe an 1/8 or a 1/16 of an inch?
Quarter.
Maybe.
Quarter inch.
I'm going to use 26 gauge floral wire.
Patty said you're the best teacher of this angel that I've seen. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Okay, you're going to need 2 pieces of floral wire. So I find that it's easier if you kind of form this into like a little loop. So I just have the open ends here. Here's my loop. So once I've stacked these, I'm going to make sure they're all even at the top, just so there's a slight overlap. You don't have to be perfect. And then you're going to take them and you're going to pinch and you're going to fold them all at the top.
Hi, Linda.
So you get into a really refined, small little piece. Here's where the loop comes in handy, right? We're holding this. We're going to take our loop, our 2 ends, we're going to slide the ends up through the loop so that when we pull, we have a really good tension on that. Nice and tight without having to do this kind of tight. And then I like to go around a couple, go around this way, twist it so that those don't come apart. And then we're just going to snip that off. Yourself. And then this part is all going to fan out just like this. It's kind of hard because the foil ends that I have are very thick. So this forms her apron. Okay, so that piece is done. Do you guys have any questions on that? You can make it longer, you can make it shorter. I find the reason why you want the length 4 inches is because it has to go from here to the bottom, right? On our angel here, it needs to go from here to here. So we need to hide all this mechanics. So this is where this now comes into play. This is going to go up underneath our ball, and then this is the apron, which kind of sets the separation from here. This is the top part of her dress. This is the bottom part of her gown. So that's why we go 4 inches. Okay. Last part is you need a little bow at the top, because while this looks all pretty and everything, it kind of doesn't. So I'm not doing it like that. I'm just putting it in the hole. But you have, how do you hide that, right? How do you hide this? You can only get it down so far. Even if you trim it down, you can only go so far, and then you're still going to see the wire. So if you take, I think this is 5/8 inch. It's hard sometimes to find it in wired ribbon. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a bow that goes right over the top of this. So you have to do this in miniatures, right? So we're going to cut this. We'll do our dovetail edge on that. And then you kind of have to eyeball it. So I'm looking because people will ask. It's about 2 inches, 2.5 inches. I'm going to pinch up at the bottom. I'm going to make a little loop. Tuck that in. I'm going to twist it. I'm going to make the same little loop. Get it to the center, twist it, and then fan that out. So that's where the second piece of wire came into play. So you have this piece here. Same thing, fold the loop. We're going to put the loop right over the top. We're going to put the end pieces right into the center, grab them, and pull it tight. Just like so. And then you always want to make sure, because for some reason, I don't know why, I can never get the second loop to be exactly the same as the first one. Thankfully, this turned out okay. So I'm going to dovetail the other side. On the back here, oops, I'm going to just twist so that this does not come undone. We'll snip this piece off. Remove these, just throw them in there. Now what I have is a nice little bow, and this is wired all the way through. Oops. Here's the bow that will sit on top of the apron. That hides the wire of your apron, okay? Which is great and all because you still have wire now for the little bow that you just created, right? We still need to hide that. So if you choose, this is where you can get really creative and come up with some really awesome things to add in here. You can add bells if you're doing it for angels. You can get those at Hobby Lobby. I think they're about a 1/2 inch in diameter is the size bell I use. On this one, I'm going to get a little bit creative, and I'm going to take, so I did this last year. You can go to Party City and you can get the Mardi Gras beads. These ones have little jester faces or little jokers or little fans, and I want to use purple. So what I'm going to do is, this is all just wired together. I'm going to take, let's see, since these are all, it's not wired, it's just strung together. There's that one. I'm trying to decide which one I want. So there's either like a happy face like that, that is significant for Mardi Gras, or what do we have the other one? I just had it. That's interesting. Let's just do this one again. Or we can add the little jester. So it'd be like here, and here's a little jester, which is I think what I'm gonna do. So I have all my pieces necessary to put that together, and now I found the other one. It was under my pipe cleaners.
So I said I love these angels. I was able to use your tutorial and play around with the size. I used the 5.5 inch mesh. Scaled the ribbons down and used a vase filler for the head. Perfect size for an ornament.
Yes, awesome. So that's great. And I've had people go, can you go larger? The answer is yes. Keep in mind, however, you can use 21 inch mesh. So you would use the same dimensions. Like this is 10 inch, everything's 10 inch, right? 10 inch mesh cut to 10 inch pieces. So if you're going to use 21 inch mesh, it's going to be 21 inch mesh cut to 21 inch pieces. You can do it with one roll of deco mesh and have enough, because you're only going to need 10 21 inch pieces. You should have 360 inches on a roll. So you'll have plenty, but it's going to be huge. The wingspan alone is going to be, I'm trying to think, it's 36, 38 inches all the way across when you do wings out this way and then wings up. It gets expensive to ship that way. But it's great if you're going to do it and make it for your home. It is definitely a statement piece. You would do 3 inch size balls, which is like a good size ornament head, like that we put on our Christmas trees. And then you're going to use 2.5 inch ribbon to get the top part. And then on the bow part, you can just use 1.5 inch ribbon to make the bow, and then whatever embellishment you want. So now that we've got all the pieces together, we need to put it all together. So this is where it's handy having the hole in it to know how much glue to put in. I'm going to fill my hole.
Hi, Maria.
My glue just does not want to come out. Oh, you have the other glue sticks. I think it's stuck. Can you come here and hold this while I push my glue through? I got a plug in there and I don't want to burn you. So it's kind of stuck. Don't you hate that when your glue gun malfunctions? Yeah, okay. Thank you. So I'm filling that, and then now what I'm going to do is just give it a nice little bubble right on top. Just like that. I want to make sure that I have the right side facing that I wanted for my head. I'm going to part the wings, and I'm going to hold the ball to the body right between the wings. So it's kind of sitting on the stack, kind of right in between the body. It's lifted up off the cutting mat. I'm not like pushing it to the cutting mat, but I do need to let it dry. Because I'm using a wood ball, it's a little heavier than it would be if I was using like a little plastic ornament. But this is the most important part, is getting their head glued on straight, right? Yep. And then we get to hide all the imperfections all the way through. Kind of. Nice and tight. Sometimes I hear all the cats down the hall. We are good. Okay, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to assemble those pieces in reverse. So this is where having your apron fanned out. I'm going to put a little glue right at the bottom of her ball. I'm going to take that point, that little part, and that is going right underneath the head. So I'm just going to hold those two together until they dry. You can use silicone fingertips. You can use skewers. Because the wire that you've twisted around the top of your ribbon will have a tendency of getting hot depending upon how hot your glue gun is. Now, I would make sure that it's on low, just in case. Most of our glue burns happen when our glue guns are a little too hot, or they're on the high setting, so make sure you lower that. And then once we have that in place, we're now going to add our bow. So it's just like a layer upon layer. So we're going to put this right on top. Make sure we have plenty on there. Make sure my bow's nice and straight. This is going to go right up underneath that ball to kind of hide where the edge of her apron now has met the top of her head. And then this will hide that mechanic for you so that you have a really clean looking angel. Okay, fluff out her bow just a touch. Now we're going to add our little jester head. So that's going to go right in the center here. Want to make sure I put it on in the right direction. We will hold this on. We're almost finished. All we have to do is attach our halo. And then she will be finished for 2023. And you can make these for Easter. You can make them for baby showers. Trying to think what else besides Christmas. They're great for all the holiday trees. So if people are doing holiday trees in their home year round, what better way to adorn the top of your holiday tree than to have a Mardi Gras Angel if you're decorating your tree for Mardi Gras as well. Okay, so there's the whole front. She looks great. She's a halo-less angel right now, just like that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So now we're going to attach her halo. So make sure everything fits right where we're going to attach it. I need to move a piece of glue. It's right there. So again, I'm just double checking the measurements. And sometimes it's easier just to kind of do it with your fingers. Make sure you know your pipe cleaner is going around the ball of her head, and then it's going to end, this part's going to end right along her back. A little bit of an indent because we've got to try to get it right where her head meets the body, just like that. And that's where it's going to end. Look at where your pipe cleaner ends. Mine ends right here at the green. And I'm going to lay this right at the top of the circle. Here's where my glue is going to start. So right along the bottom, right along the top.
Really good bead glue.
Right to where I said it ends. I'm going to take this, I'm going to hold this exactly the way that I was holding it before. I'm going to lay that on top. I'm holding the bottom part to her body. I'm holding right where my index finger is. I'm pushing that halo to the back of that wood ball. And this is where you want to hold it because you want to make sure that you have a solid fit from the top of her head all the way to the bottom. And then this, again, is hiding that cosmetic from, you know, where we've had pipe cleaners assembling everything all the way together. And if you're afraid you're going to burn yourself, just put the silicone fingertips on. But a solid fit. And we are set. So everything is nice and tight. This is what it looks like on the back. Here's our twist tie for hanging it. And then from the front, you'll want to make any little adjustments on how you want your halo to be placed. And there we have our Mardi Gras Angel. She's all finished with her halo. Super simple, right? So my best advice for you guys, and notice here, there's no phrase on any of my cuts because we have done wood burning tool. If you're using burlap mesh, you're gonna wanna use E6000 and a rotary cutter because you can't cut that with a wood burning tool. But I would encourage you guys to give it a try. It's gonna take some time to get the process and the method down. So don't lose heart. Like I said, it's great if you can get somebody to hold all your pieces the first time because that just makes it super easy. If not, Bodabra, like I said, is perfect for that. I like to make sure that when I'm making my angels that the wings meet the edge of their skirt so that it looks like one flawless piece all the way through from top to bottom. Oh, yes, I could do that. I think it's going to slide though. Yeah, it will slide. There we go. So, what questions do you guys have? If any.
These are beautiful.
So remember, you can make these for Valentine's Day. You can make them for St. Patrick's Day. You can make them for Easter, spring, Mother's Day. When I first started making them, I just stopped at Christmas and I was like, I don't know why I stopped. I should have made them for all the holidays. And you can vary them every year for the major holidays like Mardi Gras and St. Patrick's Day and Valentine's Day. I always do what's called a limited edition angel. It's the one I make and never repeat. So it's the only one that's ever created. And I find that that just kind of helps give customers, like, they have like an exclusive something that nobody else is going to be able to replicate. Especially if you use ribbon that you've had for a while that is no longer available and it's discontinued, it just kind of helps create that exclusive limited edition feeling. I would encourage you guys, private group's going to be open for about 2 more weeks. We're shutting it down right at the end of the year. Because we're going to get ready to launch our Back to Basics. So if you have never gone through a Back to Basics class, I highly recommend it. It's probably one of the things that our private group loves the most. We go through everything in detail from start to finish, going through color theory. Color theory helps you decide what colors should you put together if you're making something, and kind of helps the overall thought process when you're getting ready to purchase your wreath supplies. We go over every single type of deco mesh, every single type of wreath frame that's available, where you can get great deals, where you can get super huge cost savings on your supplies. And then we also are launching this in conjunction with the business class. So if you want to learn how to open an Etsy shop, or how to get a Facebook business page going, or how to utilize social media for free marketing, 2023 is going to be the last year we combine those courses. After 2023, they're going to be their own separate entity. So if you sign up now, that rate gets locked in for you for the remainder of, as long as you decide to stay a member. It doesn't matter what we do, if we're splitting courses or not. Legacy members stay in the same group. Nothing changes for them unless you leave and then subsequently come back. So if you have any questions, email me. I think Steve's pinning the link to the website to sign up. It's at catscreationsandmore.com. I thank you guys from the bottom of our heart. We both do, for standing with us in 2022, which has been a really rough year for a lot of people. And we're praying that 2023 is a change for the good, and a change for future things that are going to be better than maybe 2022 was for a lot of people. So Merry Christmas from our house to yours.
Linda, maybe you could message her later. She said, I still don't understand, how do you get the wings, to get the spread of the wings?
Okay.
Donna said, so beautiful, love the colors.
Spread of the wings is going to be based on how you keep your layers stacked. So if your layers are stacked evenly, you get the spread of the wings. So they're all facing towards you. When we did our technique, these are wingtips facing open, and it's going to be based on how you fold them, place them in your stack, and then how well your stack, when you separate your wings from your skirt, how well these still remain stacked. If you see all 6, it's because you have those individual layers all present, and then you just want to make sure that everything lays flat.
And then Kathy asked, is this your last live? Yes.
This is my last live for 2022. So we're going to take vacation. Family is coming in to our new home next week. So we're looking forward to that. But starting, I'm trying to think, I think it's starting tomorrow, all the way through the end of New Year's, I am sharing with you from the last 5 years, the top 15 tutorials that I have done in order of like number 15 all the way down to number 1, obviously is going to be on New Year's Day. So look for those being posted. It's a really nice graphic. It says the best of the best of 20, of Cats Creations. Yeah. So I'm sharing with you tutorials that maybe you missed, that maybe you didn't catch the first time around. So make sure you guys tune in and watch that. You hadn't seen it, didn't know that I had this available, we're sharing those for you all the way through the rest of the year. So that's our gift to you. And like I said, we thank you for tuning in and watching with us. May you all have a very Merry Christmas, and that you have a safe and healthy Christmas and all the way through New Year's. And I look forward to seeing you guys again back in January of 2023. So see you guys all next year, and I'll be talking to you throughout this year. I'll be sharing all the fun stuff, new business stuff. So what's happening with the chickens and the big, huge snowstorm coming this weekend.
Thank you all for your support.
Yeah, enjoy it. have great time with your family and be present. Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.